All right, in this video I got something new. So in these buckets is where I keep my sand. And this is the sand that I've been using on the project so far, which is the gray sand, and it's called green sand, and it has a water content in it. And what you don't see me do on my videos is to retreat the sand after I cast. So I'll go ahead and scrape all the charred pieces out of the mold after I'm done casting that's blackened that you can see on my previous videos. And then I'll break up as much as I can of the sand and get it rehydrated. And you don't see me do that. And so like it takes time to prepare this. And then once I do cast, I have to wait for it to get hydrated and sit and stir it up and get all the water and moisture content even throughout the sand, so that way when I cast it, it's a very even sand medium. So I decided to try something different. So now, since that takes prep and time, I still don't mind using it. I think it's pretty good. It's 180 mesh. I picked up some Petrobond. Petrobond is more of an oil-based sand. There's no water in it, so I shouldn't have to hydrate it. And I think the oil is kind of a heavy oil, so it's not going to evaporate out. And it's also 190 mesh. So hopefully I can go ahead and do more castings and not have to wait so much in between casting for the water to evenly distribute and hydrate the green sand. So hopefully this is going to be a big improvement, and we'll see how it goes. So this will be my first casting with the Petrobond. So my first casting, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this Superman logo I made. It was 3D printed. It was then primed with the 2-in-1 paint sandable primer. And then I painted it with a metallic paint, and that way you can see if there's any flaws in it and how smooth it is. Another reason I decided to pick this logo, it made some nice edges on the sides so that way it pulls out of the sand. I made sure the S wasn't too far embossed, I guess you'd call it. Or there's not very deep crevices for the sand to get caught up in. The only problems I see with this one is maybe over here and maybe this point right here might catch some sand. So it's pretty smooth, so we'll go ahead and try it with the Petrobond. I'm hoping it turns out really well. The Petrobond's 190 mesh, which is pretty fine. So we'll go ahead and get this started.
This time I decided to use the parting powder or baby powder in material instead of trying to squirt it outside the bottle. The material that I'm using is just a corner of a pillowcase, and it works a lot better than I ever thought it would. It works way better than squirting it out of the bottle. It gives me a lot more control of how much I want to put on evenly. So I think I'm going to be doing that from now on. I think for the spin trap and the sprue, I think I'm going to try and print another little channel for it so I don't have to cut the channel into the sand. Whenever you cut into the sand, it seems to crumble sometimes. So I think I'd rather just have a little piece to lay next to it to make a channel run to the part for casting aluminum. I decided to cut the channel to the Superman logo into the side of it. I figured it'd be a lot easier just to try and sand down something that's flat than try and get the tip. So that's why I didn't bring it straight into the tip of the Superman logo. Right now, I'm just putting a little air holes in it. Again, the sand's like 190 mesh, which is really fine. So the air's got to go somewhere. I don't want it to not flow correctly in there. I'd just like to point out that child crying in the background is not my child, and I don't know which one of my neighbors was leaving their kid out to cry an hour plus in the backyard that day.
So I'm pretty sure this is one of my best castings yet. The polished aluminum looks really well. You can see a few little imperfections in here, but what impresses me most is the pitting. There's a little bit of pitting on the side right here. I'm not quite sure what causes that, if that's gases being released because it's smoked or whatever, or if it's just little sand grains that got in there and wrecked the casting. But anyway, there is a lot less of the pitting, and the surface looks a lot finer than my other castings. So you can really see how nice that turned out. I think this is one of my best castings. Thanks for watching my video. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be making more videos. Thanks a lot.